A top story at the hour, at least 16 people, including a city mayor, have been killed in dozens of Israeli strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon, causing widespread destruction in several southern areas. The IDF airstrike destroyed Nabatea municipal headquarters in the biggest attack on an official Lebanese state building since the start of the Israeli campaign. Lebanese officials denounced the attack, which also wounded more than 50 people, saying it was proof that Israel's offensive against the Hezbollah armed group was now shifting to target the Lebanese state. The United States has yet again raised concerns with Israel over IDF's near-daily strikes in densely populated areas of Beirut.
We're opposed to the near daily strikes, and sometimes daily strikes and sometimes multiple strikes a day in densely populated areas in Beirut. That's what we saw for a course of 10 days to 2 weeks, and we made clear to the government of Israel that we were opposed to that intense daily bombardment of Beirut, and we saw it dialed back significantly.
Meanwhile, the Israeli military said that it destroyed a tunnel network it claimed was used by Hezbollah militants in the area of Mahabib, a town in southern Lebanon. The army said in a statement that the troops conducted targeted raids on a large network of underground infrastructure and tunnel shafts that included living quarters and armories, and found a large quantity of weaponry. Earlier, UNIFIL said that Israeli army forces fired at one of its positions in South Lebanon, though the Israeli army clarified, issuing a statement that it was not targeting UNIFIL infrastructure sites and forces in Lebanon. In the latest, Hezbollah said it destroyed another Israeli tank near the Lebanese border with a guided missile after close combat with Israeli troops staging incursions in the area. The militant group said it had targeted another tank in similar strike near a border village on Wednesday. In northern Israel, IDF's air defense system were targeted and shot up on Wednesday night. About 30 seconds later, footage showed a blast on the ground along with echoing sirens. In southern Israel, the Al-Quds Brigades, the armed wing of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad movement, said that it fired rockets towards Sderot and Needham areas, while the IDF said 2 projectiles that crossed from the northern Gaza Strip were intercepted. Meanwhile, Washington said that it wants Israel to take further action on the humanitarian situation in Gaza. The U.S. acknowledged Israel's initial steps, such as approving new warehouses and staging facilities for the UN and other aid groups, but emphasized that the U.S. expects tangible results, including more trucks delivering aid.
So we have seen them taking initial steps over the past several days. But of course, the proof will be in the pudding ultimately. And we want to see them take additional steps, and we want to see ultimately the results change. And the results will be more trucks coming in, more food getting in, more water getting in, and civilians having the basic needs that they require to go about their daily lives.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened an emergency meeting on Wednesday to discuss expanding humanitarian aid to Gaza. The Prime Minister's Security Cabinet is expected to discuss the matter further. Now, furthermore, the United States told the UN Security Council that Washington is watching to ensure that Israel's actions on the ground show it does not have a policy of starvation in the northern strip.
A quote-unquote policy of starvation in northern Gaza would be horrific and unacceptable and would have implications under international law and U.S. law. The government of Israel has said that this is not their policy, that food and other essential supplies will not be cut off, and we will be watching to see that Israel's actions on the ground match this statement.
Meanwhile, Qatar's Prime Minister said that there has been no conversations or engagement with any parties for the last 3 to 4 weeks to secure a ceasefire in Gaza. Sheikh Mohammed, who is also Foreign Minister, has led mediation efforts for a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
Unfortunately, we've seen that the efforts being hindered in the past few weeks, and basically in the last 3 to 4 weeks, there is no conversation or engagement at all. And we are just moving in the same circle with the silence from all parties. And this is unfortunate.
Now, correspondent Susan Tehrani brings you more details in the next report.
The United Nations Security Council met to discuss the Gaza crisis amid intense military operations by Israel, as well as civilian casualties. The United States warned Israel against what it called a policy of starvation, deeming it unacceptable under international law. However, Israel's UN ambassador Danny Danon accused Hamas of hijacking aid. 38 humanitarian organizations have condemned Israel's actions as being, quote unquote, a horrifying level of atrocity. The United States, first President Biden and then the ambassador here at the UN, threatened potential restrictions on military aid if Israel fails to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza. Now, with international pressure mounting, Israel faces a critical juncture, balancing security concerns with humanitarian obligations. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.